This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Final game of the first half of the regular season. And the Reds trying to pick up a sweep. The Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. For those that do not know, Mike Matheny relieved of his duties as the Cardinals manager. Also, John Mabry and Billy Miller let go as well. So managerial change, Jimmy, and Mike had a pretty good run here in St. Louis, but obviously team not playing well, something had to give.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the manager has to take the brunt of the problems when the team isn't playing well, but that's just the way it goes. The front office made a decision today and hopefully a new outlook, but you see what Mike has done in the past 7 years.
First 4 seasons, very good. The .579 winning percentage, but the last 3, .216, .201. Tell you what, a lot of managers, though, would take that resume.
Yeah, they would kill for that resume, but you look at the last 3 seasons for Cardinal baseball, and that's probably not acceptable. No postseason appearances, and the sloppy play.
One of the things that you'll notice throughout the games with Mike Shildt, he'll be taking notes. He does that all the time. He said he's a big believer in ownership, collectively or individually. And he'll keep notes on certain plays, certain players, just to remind him after the game, maybe to go address a situation, talk about a situation.
I mean, there really is no substitute for good old-fashioned baseball. I mean, the game hasn't changed on the field, the way you score, the way you do certain things, and I still believe that the old-fashioned style of that, of talking about it as it's happening, being around it more helps.
DeYoung staying with it and gets him. Winker retired. Let's take a look at our Toyota key to the game.
See that guy right there, and basically the first day, just finish the first half on a winning note. Finish on a high note, get everybody involved, and just kind of try and turn this thing around one day at a time. Then you get the 3 days off and then start off fresh in the second half.
Tucker Barnhart back to Michaelis. Quickly 2 down. 3 pitches, 2 outs, and it brings in Adam Duvall. You know, you always hear about the Cardinal way. Well, there was for a long time an Oriole way, mid-50s to the late 70s. And that's Mike Shildt. And then he said things were changing with that system in Baltimore, and he comes to St. Louis, but found the culture to be very similar. Surrounded by winning players, winning managers and coaches. I'm excited for Mike Shildt. Good baseball man. You also get a fresh message. You know, players get stale hearing the same thing. And that may have been an issue with Mike Matheny. But
or maybe not hearing enough.
Play.
Or maybe not hearing enough.
Yeah.
You never know what it is down there.
Michael is spinning away, frustrated with that pitch to go to 3-0, his third 3-ball count. Don't see that very often with Miles. Impeccable control. And on 4 pitches, he walked him. The MLB.TV All-Star Sale is here for $39.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this sale.
Well, the good thing about the walk is you got the pitcher coming up in the 8th spot.
DeSclafani does have a home run. He's batting .188. And a fly ball that'll carry to Bader. He makes the catch. 8-pitch inning. Jerko, Wong, and Fowler coming up. Cardinals have been hit or miss literally with their offense, up and down the ranks right now in the National League. And it's not just Mike Schilt, but Budaska comes up from the minor leagues, and many of the Cardinals that had him as a hitting coach in the minor leagues had great success with him. Jerko on the first pitch pops it up into shallow right. And Winker with the catch, 1 pitch and 1 away. In steps Colton Wong. I may be wrong, but I think Colton Wong can take off under Mike Schilt.
Changes music. Little hula dance walking up to the plate.
You know, the Cardinals have a lot invested in Wong, a lot invested in right field. In left field, a major trade. And you've got to get some return.
Well, I'll tell you what, all kidding aside, Colton's been here for a long time, and the knock on him for a little bit was nothing was getting through to him. I've had some talks with him. He did a really good job last year at the end of the year, hitting with 2 strikes and slowing down.
Let's hit out to center, but Hamilton is there.
Struggled a little bit at the beginning of this year, but all of a sudden he's been a little bit more open, and he's talked about staying back. I've noticed his hands are up and smooth now. He's changed. Maybe it just takes somebody else to talk to him once in a while. Maybe he just took a little while to learn, but you're right. I think he can take off if he continues to make strides like he's making, or he has made in the last couple weeks, just like he did last year at the end of the year. Looks like he's changed a little bit this year, right, in the last couple weeks, like I said, and so nothing but good things can come from all of that. And hitting is so weird. It's like you can see video and do this and do that, and sometimes it's not even any of that. It's a thought process, and if you can change your thought process at the plate, sometimes your body will just take over. And it's something that, talking to certain players, I'm talking about, like when you overwork, sometimes you overwork in the bad way, and sometimes you can overwork yourself to death and be tired. You can hit getting up out of bed, right? I mean, if you walk out there not warmed up and someone flips you a softball, you're going to hit it. But you don't forget about that stuff. Sometimes what happens is you just start working yourself into bad habits and you get carried away with them, and then you go south. Sometimes you just need to change, and a simple thought process can change more than anything, other than just keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hit yourself into the ground.
What about too much information? Heard that a little bit with the previous regime.
I think that any time that you're struggling at the plate, usually it's a simple fix. Sometimes it's as simple as just not being so aggressive or being more aggressive, or it's never all of your mechanics together. It's never, you just don't forget. Sometimes it's your front shoulder leaving a little early, sometimes because you're thinking about pulling the ball. Sometimes your foot's hitting the ground in the wrong spot. Sometimes you're further away from the plate than you normally are, and you just get all this jumbled mess going on, and you forget about how to play the game.
There's a high fly ball lifted out to deep right. At the wall, it's gone. Dexter Fowler. 7th home run of the year. 2 solo shots and a 2-0 lead. A 2-out homer, a solo homer by Dexter Fowler. And here's Harrison Bader. And Bader smokes it in the gap in right center. He missed the bag at first trying to turn. He might be hurt. Oh no. Missed the bag, had to go back, and as he was going back, you could see something was not right. Awkward turn around first base.
You see that slip, double slip, but he hit the edge in between the grass and the dirt. Just threw him off a little bit. Sometimes when you're running the bases like that too, you get more scared that you're going to get hurt than anything. You saw the double slip with the ankle, and all you can think of is, oh no, here we go again.
And Tommy Pham has come out of the dugout, and that's going to be it. With his speed, undoubtedly a double, maybe a triple. So now Tommy Pham into the ball game. And the pitcher, Cardinals will get him through the lineup. Miles Michaelis, 2 for 33. One of those hits, a home run against Milwaukee earlier this season. And strike one. Michaelis breaks his bat, hits a grounder to second base, and Jeanette makes the play. Home run hit by Dexter Fowler. 7th of the year, and it's 2-0.
Mozeliak said in his press conference this morning that the decision to part ways with Mike Matheny came from a conversation on Friday that they needed to make a decision this weekend. I had a chance to speak with Mike Gersh after the press conference this morning, and he told me that, of course, there's no easy time to make a decision like this, but of course the All-Star game, it was a natural break in the schedule for them, so it felt best to do it now. Both Mo and Gersh stressed the importance of a fresh voice, and they want to find a way to salvage the season. Of course, the club has not played up to its capabilities, so they're looking to a new leadership. Some were asking about the consideration of Jose Oquendo for the interim manager role. Gersh said while he was in consideration, Mike Shildt has been with the club just about every single level. He succeeded at just about every level, so they're looking forward to see what he can do. And of course, they stress the fact that Shildt will be the interim manager for the remainder of the season, guys.
All right, thank you, Erica. I asked Mo about the interim tag. I said, what if this team goes on a run? He said, certainly he'd be a candidate. You know, we'd have to look at it. Here's Billy Hamilton, 2 balls and 1 strike. The impact of George Kissel, not only with the Cardinals, but in baseball, is felt every day. He helped out Earl Weaver, Tony La Russa, Jim Leland, Joe Torre, and also Mike Shildt. Those two were extremely close, to the point that Dr. Dick Kissel, George's son, when Mike was in Springfield managing the AA club, Dr. Kissel was the team doctor, and he went through his dad's notes. And it's really like the Bible of baseball, and it's got everything from situational talks to players, what you do in a certain spot, and they recreated a black book for Mike and gave it to him, cleaned it all up, and he keeps that book with him every day. It's in his locker right now. There's a base hit into center field. And there's 2 things that George said that you have to ask. Are you an organizational man, and do you have a checklist? He said those are the 2 things you always have to remember when working for the St. Louis Cardinals. pretty good advice. But he said many times managing the minor leagues, he'd get through with the game and he'd say, okay, what would George do? And he'd go back to the book and look. And Mike basically has it memorized too.
Over time, I'm sure he's read it enough to have it memorized.
So Peraza on base again. And here's Scooter Gennett. Fly to center. Out of play. Peraza has reached base safely in 9 of his last 10 plate appearances. The 0-1 pitch. Yanked foul down the right field line. Ironically, Mike's father passed away the same date as George Kissel. Here's an 0-2 pitch. And it's taken high. One ball and 2 strikes on Scooter Gennett. Peraza was 17 stolen bases this year. And the 1-2 is pulled foul. Reds in last place, but you wouldn't know it watching the series over the weekend. They have hit and hit a bunch. And the 1-2 pitch to Scooter Gennett. Inside, and it's 2-2. Pair of all-stars squaring off here. Michaelis and Gennett. Joey Votto going to the all-star game. Suarez as well. And the 2-2 pitch. Instead, a check on Peraza. They've been running with 2 strikes. The 2-2. I think you could say that after watching the ball game after the rain delay, that was just unacceptable. The way the Cardinals played, it was flat. Errors. And fans here aren't used to that. It's about winning. And the 2-2 pitch. Back to Michaelis. Out there to first. Double play. Matt Carpenter on the first pitch. StatCast powered by AWS. Now has 19 home runs. The Kubota Power Stats. I mean, that's an incredible change of a season. Look at that.
Some kind of turnaround right there. You knew he had it in him. but definitely kept positive and he kept going.
So Carpenter here, then Molina and DeYoung. St. Louis with 3 hits, and 2 of those solo home runs. May 26th, Carp was reinserted into the leadoff spot. And in that time, 54 hits, 49 have gone to right field, right center. So he's finding ways to beat the shift. Teams shift against him about 85% of the time.
Homers in the air, that'll help.
Yep. Late break on the fly ball into center. Hamilton with the catch. Yadier Molina struck out his first time up. He was about a foot away though from a home run. Pulled it foul down the left field line. DeSclafani, his only strikeout of the day. Yadi headed to his 9th All-Star game on Tuesday night. Mentioned I hosted that dinner last night for group leaders here at the ballpark. John Mozeliak a part of that, and one of the questions was about Molina. There's been a lot of talk whether or not people believe he's a Hall of Famer, and he said just look at the resume. How can you not? The longevity. World championships, the amount of postseason games, the durability.
It's still going strong.
Yeah.
It's not done yet.
Apparently he told Mo, he said once he signed the extension, he said trust me, I'll be worth every penny of this deal. The 2-1 pitch to Molina. Out of play. 2-2. Cardinals start play 7.5 games back. Milwaukee struggling. They've dropped 5 in a row. They're now in 2nd place, a game and a half back of Chicago. Now time called. Cardinals start after the break at Wrigley Field. 5 games in 4 days. 8 of the first 11 against the Chicago Cubs. The 2-2. And he struck him out. Our Budweiser What's on Tap. A look at the upcoming schedule after the All-Star break. Chicago and then at Cincinnati. Cardinals come home to face the Cubs again, and then Colorado. Wrap up July into early August. Pittsburgh. It'll be fascinating to see what the Cardinals will do, not only with their managerial position potentially, but also at the trade deadline. Where are you at? The final couple of weeks of July may define what they do.
Yeah, you definitely want to put yourself in position so they can go out and get help, or just put yourself in position to be a contender, obviously, at the end of the year. So the front office has to make a decision one way or the other. It's a good position to be in.
And DeYoung lifts a fly ball into center. Billy Hamilton near the edge of the track and makes the catch. Harrison Bader removed from the game with a mild left knee hyperextension. The official word from the Cardinals. Here's Joey Votto, and the first pitch is strike, and we're underway. The Reds have not had 3 players with an on-base percentage of .400 or better in a season since 1976. They have not seen that since '76. Votto, Suarez, Winker, all above .400. Not a bad trio, by the way, in 1976. Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, and Griffey. Mid-70s teams of the Reds were just incredible. The Big Red Machine. That pitch in the dirt. It's a famous All-Star game moment with Pete Rose. We flash back. Ray Fosse at the plate. All-Star game in Cincinnati, July 14th. Also the first All-Star game to be played at night. Everyone since has been under the lights. There's a base hit for Votto into right center. Pham to cut it off, and Joey Votto has a double. Both players injured on that play, and Fosse never fully recovered. A double for Joey Votto, who's 1 for 2.
Another good piece of hitting by Joey right there. Just it's the thing right there. He gets 2 strikes and he just calms down and he looks for the pitcher's pitch. That time a slider. Doesn't get too jumpy and able to center it up.
It's the first Red to get to second base this afternoon. And a strike on Suarez. Remember last night, 21 plate appearances with runners in scoring position for the Reds.
It's pretty close to being a record, I would have to think.
Here's the 0-1. Fouled back, and it's 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch by Michaelis. Up and in. Suarez grounded into a fielder's choice, first time up. Well, you see that Pete Rose collision, and now in the All-Star game, guys are taking selfies. Things have changed.
Wondering where you were going to go with that one right there. You can hit with your phone in your back pocket now.
Exactly.
Times have changed.
Two balls and 2 strikes. You're wondering about plate appearances with runners in scoring position. It actually happened last year. The record. The Boston Red Sox had a game in which they had 35 plate appearances with runners in scoring position.
What was the score?
They did that against the Tampa Bay Rays. Here's a 2-2 pitch. The score was 13-6, and I'm assuming it was in favor of Boston.
And they left a lot of guys on base too.
It was in 15 innings.
It's like you're playing charades over there.
It was a 7-run 15th. A 3-2 pitch to Suarez. And that pitch inside. Second walk issued by Miles Michaelis. Pride Night returns to Busch Stadium on Friday, August 17th. Purchase of a special theme ticket. Fans will receive a Cardinals t-shirt with a rainbow STL logo. Pride Night tickets, cardinals.com/theme. Cardinals record for runners in scoring position, plate appearances. Back in 1978, they had 31 against Atlanta. So there you go. A rare 2-walk day so far for Michaelis. See, he's not quite on top of some of these pitches. Lino will use a mound visit.
Yeah, everything for him has been up early in this game, and now that it's the 4th inning, still some of his pitches he's leaving up. You can see when Yadi was walking to the plate, he literally was just rubbing his arms all over his uniform, being sure he's nice and wet, sweaty, and that, I'm telling you what, sometimes when you're that wet and you're playing and it's tough, I can't imagine having the ball in your hand and trying to grip and throw. I mean, there's only so much rosin and stuff you can put on your hands to keep it dry for pitch to pitch to pitch. And you wonder why guys go to the rosin bag so often.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Another pitch up 2-0.
Just doesn't look to me like he's finishing all the way through his pitches like he has in the past. Just leaving a little bit up in the zone.
And the 2-0 pitch is a strike. Coming into the ball game, Michael has had 61 3-ball counts, second fewest in all of Major League Baseball. Sean Manaea with Oakland with 59. Winker grounded out to short, first time up, and a 2-1 pitch. Base hit into center field. Pham to the plate, and the bases are loaded. So it's another situation with the bases loaded for the Reds. They've had the most plate appearances in baseball in this spot, and they've hit the most grand slams.
Trying to figure out how Joey Votto doesn't score right there. Be a little frustrated if I was hitting.
And Pham was playing fairly deep too.
Really deep, and really didn't make much of an effort to charge. The ball wasn't hit super hard. It's almost like they no outs, they just gave up on it, and hopefully Barnhart can do the trick.
Winker, by the way, now with a 10-game hitting streak, a career best. This has been odd. Michael is falling behind. We haven't seen that this year very often. A double, a walk, and a single, and they're all loaded up for the Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch in on his hands. Outfield basically straight away. And the 1-1 pitch by Michaelis. That one caught Molina, 1-2. I think it got his ankle.
He's going to need some bigger pads pretty soon, like the goalie pads. I mean, you can see the ball still hits part of the pad, but it's just clearly not enough to protect you from getting hurt.
Reds have grounded into 83 double plays, second most in baseball. And the 1-2 pitch struck him out. First strikeout of the day.
See that big 12-6 curveball. Gets down in a hurry, and that's the Miles Michaelis that we're used to seeing. Starts off up in the zone, looks like it's a nice pitch to hit, and just drops off the table.
This is the 9th plate appearance with the bases loaded in this series for the Reds. Adam Duvall, then the pitcher, Post-Matheny on deck. And he hits it out to deep left field. And it is a foul ball. I wouldn't be surprised if the umpires want to take a look at this.
Well, let's go back to that old thing that says when the ball crosses in front of the yellow pole, it's a foul ball.
Now Chris Conroy of the medical team of the Cardinals just checked on Yadier Molina. He says he's all right. We know Duvall's got good power, 14 home runs on the year. Struggling though with the average, came in at 203. Walked his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. His walk back in the second, the first 4-pitch walk of the year for Miles Michaelis.
It's hard to believe.
It really is. And the 1-1. Curveball drops in. Again, though, another pitch up. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fastball in the dirt, kept in front. Well, Duvall has been in this spot a bunch. He's got 22 of his 58 RBI coming with the bases loaded. That's most in baseball. This is his 20th plate appearance with the bases loaded this year. 20.
That's incredible. That's how you will get some RBIs, obviously. Imagine if he was hitting 250, 260. Not 203.
This will be pitch number 25 of the inning. 69 on the day. And a hot afternoon here at Busch Stadium. 2 balls, 2 strikes, bases loaded. And the next by Michaelis. Hit out of play. Second mound visit of the day from Molina. Cardinals nearly ran out of them last night. I haven't seen a team run out of mound visits yet this year. I think Yachty may have gotten crossed up on that last pitch. Take a look. Oh yeah.
That's not good.
Oh boy.
That hit him right in the ear. You know, during the course of an inning, when the guy's on second base for a while, they'll start to change up the signs, and if you don't catch the change, that is not good.
And a ground ball, base hit. 1 run is in, and here comes another. And with that, the game is tied 2-2. Duvall now is driven in 60 as he brings in Votto and Suarez.
Good at bat by Duvall. He just hung around until he got himself a pitch to hit. Michael's got the ground ball, but just not at anybody.
Boy, he's fighting it right now.
Yeah, he definitely is.
It's ball one to Post-Matheny. The last two games, the Cardinals pen has had 90 pitches. Game one, 96 yesterday. You would love to see Michaelis go fairly deep in this game if he can. They drop down a bunt. Michaelis, no one there. Post-Matheny is safe at first. And the base is loaded. Little indecision on Michaelis's part. Who was going to get that ball, and that indecision cost him.
Jed just didn't think he could get there. I think he was surprised how far it went. It rolled. You can see right there. It's pretty close.
Well, these are the things that we're talking about that have to get cleaned up. That's an out that they're giving you.
And these are the things that have been hurting, because when you give extra outs, they tend to come back and get you.
No doubt. The strike to Billy Hamilton. That was the 16th bunt hit for the Reds this year, second most in baseball.
And little things like that too are just communication. You know, if he's not going to charge, he needs to let the pitcher know right away. Or if he's going to charge as an individual player, you have to tell your pitcher, I'm charging or I'm not charging. There can't be an in-between. And that's not just Jed Jerko. That's just the bunt play in general.
0-2 the count on Billy Hamilton. Winker, Duvall, Post-Matheny all aboard. And a high pop up. Wong with it. Infield fly rule. And that's out number 2. It's a big out. Back to the top of the lineup, and Peraza. And we talked about the Cardinals after that 100-win campaign, things not going in the right direction. And that included defensively. 4th most errors in baseball since 2016. 77 this year, most in the game. And the last time the Cardinals led Major League Baseball in errors was 1958. It's more of what we're talking about. Cardinals baseball. It's clean. It's better. Make the plays. Not used to seeing this. 2-2 our score. Reds have out hit the Cardinals now 5-3. John Gant starting to throw in the Cardinals pen. Well, that's where you get linked out of the bullpen, and John Gant, who's been a swingman this year. This will be pitch number 35 of the inning coming up for Michaelis. And the 1-1. Recovers, not in time. Run scores to make it 3-2. And Chris Conroy out to check on Michaelis. He says he's fine. It's ruled a base hit.
Tell you what, the more and more I watch this Peraza, the more impressed I am. The one time he hasn't squared up a ball or made a good pass at it, he's flying down the line and getting a base hit out of a ball that just 2 hops off the pitcher. He's been doing everything in this series right.
How can that be ruled a hit?
Because he didn't get a glove on it right away? I'm not really sure. I think that's got to be a hit, no?
No.
yeah, no. Probably got to be an error on that one. You're right. Sorry.
Don't be sorry, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. Shouldn't have doubted you.
No, no, no. And now Scooter Gennett. I gotta wonder if this is going to be Miles' final inning, the way he's grinding through.
Got 80 pitches already.
Yep. And you try to squeeze one more inning out of him. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Had him out in front. It's popped up. Jerko, and it drops. You can see him battling the sun with the sunglasses on the top of his cap. And Miles should be out of this inning.
Maybe 2 times or 3.
Give this guy another chance and he can do some damage. And this is a big at bat in the game. Bases loaded, only a 1-run deficit. Tied him up.
Good pitch.
That's just this inning alone. The balls and strikes, and it's up to 37. One thing I'll be interested in watching is seeing before games Mike Schilt and the players coming out working on fundamentals.
Keep an eye on Yachty right here. He's thinking he's seeing something. I'm watching him. The runner on second base, maybe giving the signs or maybe seeing something in Miles's hands. Yachty's definitely paying attention. Not very often do you see the pitcher out there at second base giving signs away.
No.
But you never know.
That's up and in. And that's fouled back. One-two pitch by Michaelis, and he gets the ground ball. Wong with it. 3 runs scored and a lead for Cincinnati. It's 3-2. We move to the bottom of the 4th. Fireworks night at Busch Stadium, presented by Cooper Tires, is back by popular demand. Bring the family to watch the Cardinals take on the Cubs. That'll be Friday, July 27th. Stay in your seats after the game to watch the dazzling fireworks display with the St. Louis Arch as a backdrop. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Marcell Ozuna fly to center first time up. It'll be Ozuna, Jerko, and Wong. Comparison last year and this year. That's part of what's happening here with the changes with the Cardinals. Different voice as a batting coach, hitting instructor. Maybe they pick up something that he's doing. They see something differently. Here's a 1-0.
Sometimes too, as a player, if you haven't struggled or you had a year before where it's been smooth, you don't really know how to take that criticism or that help. And it might not be Mavs' fault that he's struggling. Maybe you can't get through to a guy.
Inside the third base line, Ozuna around first, and he'll stop there. Throw is high, but Jeanette keeps it on the infield.
Nice job of getting to this ball. And back to what I was saying, sometimes when you struggle for the first time or you're in a new spot, you don't really take what people are saying the right way, or you think you can fix it all by yourself. And the problem with that sometimes is it lingers so long that then you can't get back.
Here's Jed Jerko. And a ball low and away. As a hitter, would you be all right with pitchers using pine tar? And I say that because when the cold weather hits, they don't have a grip. Day like today, they're sweating all over the place. Both pitchers struggling with the grip of the baseball. Is it something you think about?
Well, let me just tell you from experience,
they're already using it.
They're using something. If they're not using pine tar, which some of them are, they're using something. They've figured it out in how to get grip, even legally. Like even just they use shaving cream on their arms or lotion. They get a combination of things. There's another thing in there too that's called no sweat. You spray it on your hands and it doesn't last very long, but lasts long enough to slow your sweating down on your hands a little bit. And I don't know how they could come up with something that you can rub on your hands and last a little bit longer, but they definitely have things down there that they can try and use. But I'll tell you what, after a while when it's humid, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, I don't even think the pine tar would help at times unless you could just keep going to it and then, I mean, talking cheating then.
What was Julian Tavares putting on his cap?
Oh my Lord, everything.
The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Remember doing that game, it was a day game against Pittsburgh, and Julian got ejected from the game, and then he threw his cap into the seats. Major League Baseball had to go get the cap.
And then he wanted it back because it'd take a long time to get all that stuff back on the hat.
He was a beauty.
You know what, those guys, I'll tell you what, most players go through hats pretty regularly, and if you're a guy that doesn't, we've all seen the College World Series.
Hit down the left field line, but foul.
And how dirty some of those college guys can get. I mean, that between your hands being dirty and the rosin and the water, and a lot of some pitchers during the summer will put water on their hat so they don't have to keep licking their fingers all the time. But everyone's got something different.
And then there's Steve Klein.
And he's the king of the dirty hat.
It was just gross.
I think he would wear his out at night to dinner, maybe get ketchup on it, some mustard, the barbecue sauce.
The 2-2 pitch. Jerko gets a fastball here. He may put the Cardinals back on top. He is about due. Runner goes, and it's a pitch low and away. So single and now a walk. And the first two have reached. Fox Sports Midwest is proud to be an official Muni Centennial media partner of the Muni this season. Don't miss your chance to see Annie on the Muni stage July 18th through the 25th. Tickets go to muni.org. Here's Colton Wong, line to center field, first time up. Guys like Wong, Matt Adams, Stephen Piscotty, Randall Grichuk, Matt Adams at one point. They would go down to the minor leagues with Budaska, and you'd see that they'd get things figured out. And that's why maybe this change with the hitting coach could be beneficial.
Well, there's obviously a lot less pressure down there too. And you can see when they come back, sometimes they still struggle. So up and down, different voice can help get straightened out. I think it's all on you though as a player, you know, I really do. I mean, you really gotta, I think the weird thing that the example that I could bring would be like when I played, you felt the pressure of the city expecting you to play well. You didn't have to do well all the time. You just had to play the game hard in the right way. You can't throw the ball over the cutoff man's head. You can't run the bases hard, not run the bases hard. You have to do the game, play the game the right way.
Wong hit by a pitch, and now the bases are loaded. Wong no stranger to being hit by pitches, that's for sure. And with Dexter Fowler coming to the plate, it's our Nissan drive of the game. His home run back in the second inning. Home run number 7. By the way, that was the 13th time that Wong has been hit by a pitch, 4th most in baseball. That's for a guy that hasn't even been playing every day. Sal Romano getting loose in the pen for the Cincinnati Reds. Bases loaded for Dexter Fowler. It's the 53rd time that Wong has been hit by a pitch. And he's tied with Stan Musial for 8th place in Cardinals history, hit by pitch.
It's too many in my book.
And a foul ball by Fowler. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. You were hit by 49 pitches in your outstanding career.
That's still too many. Really?
49. Do you think it was more or less?
Less, a lot less.
Here's a 1-1. 2 strikes on Fowler. Hit a grand slam from the other side of the plate on the recent road trip against the White Sox. And the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. Here's Tommy Pham. He's now filling in for Harrison Bader, who singled to right center and then awkwardly hurt his left knee, hyperextended his left knee, going around the bag at first, and then Pham took over. to center. One run is in. The throw by Hamilton. Not in time as the ball gets away. The runners advance to second and third, and the Cardinals are back on top. It snaps in 0 for 20 for Tommy Pham. The base hit and then the error on Billy Hamilton, allowing the runners to advance to second and third, and this is going to be it for DeSclafani. Cardinals will go with Jose Martinez to pinch hit for Miles Michaelis, and this will be all about the bullpens today. DeSclafani out, Romano coming in. Jose Martinez will pinch hit for Miles Michaelis. 4-3, bottom of the fourth with one out. They had a 2-0 lead that fell behind 3-2 and now lead at 4-3. Sal Romano, our Chevy, called to the pen. And this being his 20th appearance of the year. His career as a pinch hitter, outstanding. 447, couple of homers. And certainly a threat off the bench for Mike Schilt. Romano has been a starter for the Reds, so across baseball you'll see some starters coming out of the bullpen because of the All-Star game. First relief appearance here, and there's a big difference trying to get loose as a reliever as a starter.
Just the pure rush of it, trying to get out there and get going with no time frame. You just get ready as fast as you can. I think sometimes as a reliever you would probably not know if you were loose all the way if you only had 10-15 throws.
And the 0-1 pitch to Jose Martinez. Pulls it left side to short, and with one out, that'll bring the run home. So the error by Hamilton allowed the runners to advance to second and third, and it cost Cincinnati. It's now 5-3. I think you would agree that that was the right move by Mike Schilt. Try to get some offense. Michael is struggling.
A lot of pitches today.
Yep.
I think that's a great job right there of driving in the run too by Martinez. Got to put that ball in play, and it's easy when the infield is back. Try to hit the ball up the middle and just get a ground ball for an RBI.
Here's Matt Carpenter with a home run, and also stung the ball to center. Pham, your runner at second base. Reds with 3 in the top of the fourth. The Cardinals have matched that and looking for more. The 1-0 pitch to Carpenter. 2 balls and no strikes. Now they're going to intentionally walk Carpenter to bring in Yadier Molina. Well, they're seeing the same thing we've been seeing. He is locked in.
Red hot Carpenter, especially down 2-0. As a pitcher, you don't want to have to throw the ball right down the middle when the guy's swinging the bat like that. Yeah, smart move. Yadi's had a tough day so far, so got to go with your gut.
Molina, ground ball, base hit. Here comes Pham. The throw to the plate, not in time. Pham scores, and Yadi makes him pay. The speed of Tommy Pham.
And sometimes the problem with this move is you fire up a veteran hitter and he locks himself in, and it's a sinker down the middle, just hits over the top of it. Tommy Pham doing a good job right here. Let the ball kind of go through before he got a really good start, but hustling all the way. Like watching him run the bases.
Wong, Bader, Pham all with good speed. Now Paul DeYoung. The pitch inside. So 2 outs and 2 on. 6-3 our score here in the bottom of the 4th. The 1-0 pitch. DeYoung drives it out to center. Hamilton back, and he'll make the catch. Hard hit ball. Cardinals strand 2, but they pick up 4. Interesting. Manny Machado, you wonder where he's going to wind up in the next couple of weeks. 6-3 our score. There's a look at your game summary. Both starters now out. And by the way, last inning, Miles Michaelis threw 40 pitches. That was a career high for Miles. So out of the ball game, John Gant is in, and he's got a 3-run lead. It's 6-3 Cardinals. Our Chevy call to the pen. A long inning for the Cardinals. He had been up when Miles was struggling last inning, so he should be plenty hot, ready to go, and rested. Joey Votto followed by Suarez and Winker. First pitch in the air to center, and the catch made by Pham. We talked about earlier how Mike Schilt and Tommy Pham, they really have a special bond because of the eye condition that they both dealt with, keratoconus. And Mike Schilt is actually legally blind in his left eye, and it's the growth of the cornea. It's more cone shaped, and he had a cornea transplant in each eye. So that's pretty amazing that those two have had that, and Mike can understand some of the struggles that Tommy has had. Had him as a manager multiple years in the minor leagues. One ball, one strike. I think it was Suarez when he scored last inning, ran over near where the Cardinal ball boy is at and grabbed a bunch of baseballs and then ran back over to the Reds dugout.
He handed them out for high fives in the dugout.
Was that what that was for?
People were looking at him like, what the heck are you doing? Just having a little fun. Handed one to the manager, one to the bench coach, a couple of the players.
And a fly ball lifted into shallow right. Dexter Fowler there to make the catch. Out number 2. I had never seen that before.
I mean, either. Good stuff.
So he runs right to him, and he's probably thinking, what's going on?
He handed balls to everyone, and yeah, he was like, whatever. Started handing them out in the dugout. Kind of taking all the fun for the first couple rows of the fans, but for good reason, obviously, to protect them. But you can't lob balls up into the stands anymore, so just hand them back out to your teammates.
Here's Jesse Winker. Pitch down. Single to center back in inning number 4. Also grounded out to short. 1 for 2. And the 1-0 pitch. And a grounder pulled foul. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt. And has been very tough with 2 strikes. Average against him 0.92. It's a rather large sample size. 8 for 87 the opposition. The 2-2 pitch is down and in. Guys with a good changeup to be tough to hit.
Good fastball. You see a little crossfire right there too. Willing to pitch in.
And the 3-2 pitch.
Change up.
There it is. Struck him out in a 1-2-3 for Gant. Marcell Ozuna coming up. Cardinals on top. Folks that we haven't talked about headed to the All-Star game. Not a player, but he's been around forever here in St. Louis. Behind the scenes, the strength and conditioning coach of the Cardinals, and that's Pete Prenze. He's been here forever, as I said, done a great job, and he's headed to the All-Star game.
I did not know that. How about that?
Seriously?
One person I probably talk to every day in that clubhouse. I did not know he was going there.
Here's a fly ball into right, and the catch is made. You of all people.
Speaking of the devil, I wonder why he did not tell me. See, humble people go in the right places. He's a good man.
He sure
knows
is.
his stuff. Tell you what, that he got me through some tough times when I played in this league, and doing the same for these guys now.
Pete was a quarterback at Florida State.
Played in the World League. Had his hip replaced at a young age.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Strike to Jed Jerko. Good for Pete, and congratulations. Enjoy it. With real good people in our organization here in St. Louis. And the 1-1. That is a major league pop-up. And it drops foul. Home run derby, Jesus Aguilar. He'll go against Hoskins, Harper against Freeman, Muncy against Baez, and Bregman against Schwarber.
Speaking of Schwarber, did you see the ball he hit out last night?
Yes, I did.
One-handed in San Diego. Pretty strong. He had a ball foul to right field and then hit 2 pitches later to left field.
Jerka with a fly ball into shallow left center. And it's a diving catch by Billy Hamilton.
And he's looking at 2 ball like, hey, you're supposed to catch that. This is kind of what we were talking about the other night. And Duvall's got his back turned. I think sometimes when you have an outfielder like Billy Hamilton, you take for granted and what he can possibly do out there. Every now and then, you as a center fielder would love to see your left and right fielder make some plays for you, so you don't have to do so much work.
I'd like to see where Jerko was too. He was near the bag at second base.
Running all the way.
Yep. Here's Colton Wong, who was hit by a pitch and scored a run. The home run derby in 2008. Josh Hamilton, if you may recall, had 28 home runs in the first round. 28, 7 of which were 500 feet plus. Wong drops down a bunt. Barnhart makes the play. And we're through 5 here in St. Louis. 6-3 our score. The Mike Shildt era begins today here at Busch Stadium, and it's 6-3. Cardinals on top of the Reds. Tucker Barnhart leads it off, followed by Duvall and DeSclafani, or rather his spot. which is now occupied by Romano. Barnhart is grounded out and struck out, 0 for 2. Milwaukee in the top of the 9th with a 5-3 lead. It is pretty amazing to see the turnaround here of the Cincinnati Reds. Change in a manager, Brian Price out, Jim Riggleman in. Cardinals are hoping could be the same thing that happens with Mike Schilt.
I mean, I played for the Reds a little bit and played against them a lot. I thought Brian Price was a weird choice, even though he did a good job. He's a very quiet guy when I was over there, and even just being around. Sometimes when you go from quiet to more enthusiastic, your team just has more of an upbeat approach and just more energy. And that's really what sometimes when you're seeing, we've talked about this in the last week, when you're not throwing strikes, your defense seems like it's on their heels and things don't go right. When you're not hitting, the whole team seems flat. So any kind of energy you can get out of a team, that's got to be a positive. And like I said, saw him, Mike Schilt, earlier in the day, and he literally walked up to one of the clubhouse guys and said, "I love the energy that you bring. Keep it going today." And that kind of was like, that's pretty interesting. But it is. It's like if you, I played for the Milwaukee Brewers, and that team went as Prince Fielder went. When Prince Fielder was in a bad mood, the whole team was quiet and down. When Prince Fielder was running and doing his thing, it felt like the whole team was up and moving and going. And it's weird how one person can affect so many different guys, and the mood in the clubhouse spills over onto the field.
Duvall with a fly ball into right. Dexter Fowler with the catch.
Not that saying that Mike Matheny did anything wrong. I'm just saying a difference in of approach. And I think the good thing about Mike Schilt's advantage right now is he saw how Mike Matheny interacted with certain people. So maybe just a tick of a different change to certain guys only. You know, maybe he ran the whole place great and did everything great on the field, but he affected, let's say, the Dexter Fowler situation, and then Tommy Pham struggling, and then Ozuna struggling. Well, maybe he sees everything else is fine, but those three guys, I need to approach those three guys different. And if you can wake those three guys up, being the guys that pretty much the veterans out there, maybe you can turn that into a positive, and it carries over to everyone else.
Well said. This is Dilson Herrera, pinch hitter, looks at a strike.
I mean, clearly Mike Matheny's record spoke for itself. I mean, he didn't have some of the best teams to work with, and the 500 record and above is pretty dang good. Like I said earlier in the open, a lot of managers would kill for that opportunity.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Be interesting. Mike was signed through 2020. If he wants to do this, wants to continue to manage, coach, or just get away for a while.
I think I would go with C.
Yep.
For a little bit. Still has a family. A lot of middle-aged young kids. They're late teens in college and grandchild. I think sometimes you just need to get, away from it and reflect. And I don't know. You never know. I've heard a lot of people say that their first 10 years as a manager really opened their eyes, and when they stepped away, they learned more than they thought they could, because the first group of years went by so fast. That's kind of the same thing for a player too. Sometimes when you see players get hurt in the middle of their career and step away for a couple months, they come back and they learn so much more, because you can focus and watch things from a different angle other than just getting caught in the rat race every day.
Paul DeYoung talked about that with me. He said sitting and watching, it was a big deal.
You learn a lot. You listen. I think you can open up your mind, because the pressure is off for the day, and you can sit there, and all of a sudden, instead of worrying about what you're doing, you can hear everything that's going on. And so you start learning piece by piece. You learn what the pitchers are talking about with the catcher, and what the outfielders are doing and why they're playing in certain situations. And now all of a sudden you're going, wow, I can get further back if I'm going after a pop-up. And I didn't realize that so-and-so threw this pitch in this situation. And I didn't, you know, things happen. And I think I took pride in playing the game that way because I did pay attention. But a lot of that came from being hurt that year in '99, right before I got here. Kind of opened my eyes a little bit.
3-2 pitch to Herrera. Changeup and struck him out. Good one.
It's a great pitch right there by Gant.
The Vulcan grip of the changeup. Unique grip that he uses. There it is. Almost acts as a splitter or fork ball.
So yeah, but key to that is having that backspin, just like a fastball. Doesn't spin as much, but you still get the rotation, so it's tough to pick up right away.
And a curveball inside to Billy Hamilton. Cardinals and the front office, along with Mike Shildt, will get together, kind of map out a plan here the next 3 days, and some of the things that they're looking to accomplish. The Cardinals will travel day of to Chicago. That'll be the only game in Major League Baseball Thursday.
Well, I promise you that somebody that is in Mike Shildt's position, had been a manager in the past, has always been dreaming of getting another shot, has been watching and taking notes on his own of things that maybe he would do differently, like everyone does. And when he gets his chance, he'll try to apply those.
The changeup for Gant, the opposition hitting 128 off of that pitch. That's how good it's been. It is really good. I think we all manage too. You know, if you're in the seats as a fan, you're managing along, and the decisions that you make, and certainly Mike Shildt has a lot more information than us.
Well, that's where all the second guessing comes from, right? Obviously,
right.
Everyone's thinking along with this and that, but as a manager, you can only put your players out there to succeed. They have to succeed. They have to do the job. Try to put them in the right position to succeed, but it's still up to them.
But I think you can ask, though, as a manager, for accountability, effort, and you can control that with a player. The bench is a great equalizer. Here's a 1-2. Went with the fastball in.
Yeah, I think too, just some of the little things you see with the errors and the missed throws and the miscommunication. If you're going to lose the right way. Show that you're in the game, playing the game the right way. And if you make a mistake once, that's it. You don't keep making the same mistakes. And sometimes that will really cost you, and it'll get the criticism to be a lot louder because the same things keep happening over and over.
The 2-2, and Hamilton a strikeout. Good work by Gant. Midway through 6, the Redbirds on top. Healthcare difference maker Tommy Pham with the bases loaded. Drives in a pair. Big hit in this game, and then Martinez. Ground ball that would score Wong after the air by Hamilton. They pitched around Carpenter. Molina made a pay with that base hit. The speed of Tommy Pham came through. BJC Healthcare difference maker. And now it's a Chevy call to the pen. David Hernandez. Now, there's so many things you think about with a manager. We're talking about making out a lineup card, accountability with your players, certainly dealing with the media at this level. And I also say, obviously, dealing with bullpen changes, managing a bullpen.
Well, the one thing I did hear when I went downstairs today was accountability. That word was thrown around a couple times. I'll tell you what, though, back to what we were talking about with Mike Shildt, I have to give, after I think about it a little bit, I have to give a lot of credit to the brass up top, because I think if they would have gone out, and this is going towards keeping Mike Schilt around. They had a perfect guy for the job, but going out and getting somebody else just to make an impact. Can you imagine somebody else coming in here? What do you do? Come in and say, okay, what was going wrong? Like, perfect guy right there. Mo and those guys, Mr. DeWitt, you see Gersh right there, make a great assessment and keep somebody that's been watching what's going on, and hopefully he can change it. Going and get somebody super quickly and getting somebody outside the organization, I mean, what really can they do in the short term if they don't know what really was going on?
Here's a 3-2 pitch to Dexter Fowler, and he hits a fly ball out to left, and the catch made. Fowler 1 for 3 with a home run, and now Tommy Pham. Well, you hit on something very important. What if? You're always talking about what ifs in baseball, everything fluid, but if you can get Pham and Fowler and Ozuna going, it's a different second half completely. Pham running hard. That'll be a base hit.
What Tommy Pham needs too.
Going to the break, have a good game.
Not supposed to play. Get in the game, get a base hit and RBIs. Another base hit right here. Looks like a line drive in the box score.
I would say that's one player you do not have to worry about hustle. Tommy Pham is going to bring it every night.
Some days you have to pull him back.
Yeah. Gant squares, bunts, only play to first, and the sacrifice good. Pham in scoring position. Don't miss the Budweiser Bash, Tuesday, July 31st. New Budweiser Terrace. Enjoy live music. Exciting area of the ballpark. You can also purchase a theme ticket to Budweiser Bash, July 31st. Get a bobblehead and autograph from former Cardinal Larry Walker. Tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. So 2 outs and a runner at second. We pitched around Carpenter in this spot back in the 4th. Intentionally walked him and then got to Molina. There's a strike. Since June 10th, the Reds are 21-9. And only Boston and Cincinnati, they put together better records. Not by much. Only a game. 2 strikes on Carpenter.
Such a good swing he's got going right now. Even on that pitch right there, his positioning is so perfect. Staying back. Let's get the hands through the ball. Some tough pitches that are out over the plate, in off the plate, and you can still take a good swing at it. You know you're locked in.
0-2 the count on Carpenter. Let's go back to the previous swing, and here's what you're talking about.
Look at the body position he's in right here. It's perfect. It's a little adjustment at the very end with the hands.
Looks so balanced at the plate.
That's what happens when everything's going right. When you're balanced, things will go better. When you're out of balance, doesn't matter if the ball's right down the middle, you're going to have trouble.
And the 0-2 pitch. Spoiled by Carpenter. You always talk about a guy that lets the ball get deep in the strike zone, and Matt Carpenter, not many better two-strike hitting than Carpenter in terms of letting the ball get deep, following a pitch off, and just staying alive.
That's why when he was struggling, it was so weird to see, because he wasn't doing anything that he doesn't normally do, and he did hit the ball hard a lot. And I was kind of looking at the math, and if he would have gotten maybe 2 or 3 more hits in that, 2 hits a week, 1 hit a week in that, he would have been hitting 250 instead of 190, 170, and he wasn't even out of control with his body. And that, you could see when guys don't change and they struggle, they're going to come around. It's just a matter of time. Hit a bunch of fly balls early in the season I thought could have been homers that kind of knocked down by the cold wind. A couple line drives that got caught. And I specifically remember talking to him and just kind of looking in his eyes, and you could tell he just was really close, but things weren't working out for him. Luck was going bad.
He's a career 220 hitter with 2 strikes, league average 172. And that's the other aspect of him. I mean, he just doesn't chase pitches out of the zone. Very rarely do you see that. That's a pitch where a lot of guys get jammed, or they strike out on. They're tied up. Two balls and 2 strikes on Matt Carpenter. Tommy Pham, your runner at second base.
Same pitch.
Yeah. (6-3) our score. We're in the top of the 7th. John Gant has done a very nice job after 4 innings from Michaelis on a hot day here in St. Louis. Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
You'll be here.
They're going to pound it in your head until he plays here.
You betcha. There's a strike to Peraza. What a series this guy's had. Cardinals can't get him out. 2 for 2 today. He's reached 6 consecutive plate appearances going back to yesterday. He had a 5-hit day. (10 for 13 in the series. Wow. Popped up.
You got him.
And the catch made by Wong. I could just imagine if he got a base hit, people be saying, oh, now you jinxed it. It's the announcer jinx.
The announcer jinx. It only works with no hitters.
Do you believe in the announcer jinx on a no hitter?
No.
It's kind of fun. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't.
I don't really think you have anything to do with what's going on down there on the field.
I would
know
agree.
If people really believe that or not, but
now if we had Tim McCarver here, he would be going wild. Dan, I'm here to tell you, first inning, he got the first 2 outs. It's a perfect game. There is no such thing. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Scooter Gennett.
And my favorite thing of all of the announcers, Joe Buck is not rooting against your team.
Oh yeah. Sure, that's been fun over the years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Tim McCarver was telling me they used to have personal bodyguard security to get out of stadiums
when they do the national games.
Yeah. Big crowd today, 45,808, 45808. Here's a 1-2. (14th) sellout. Cardinals have drawn over 2 million. They've sold over 3 million tickets, and they're trending towards 3.4. Only the Dodgers at this point in the season over 2 million. The 2-2 pitch. Doesn't happen often where a manager is fired in season in Cardinals history. Gives you an idea that Mo and Gersh and Mr. DeWitt, the ownership group, there's a sense of urgency. Turn this around. And the 2-2 pitch. Had him out in front, and it's a fair ball. Carpenter to Gant, and let's stretch on this Sunday afternoon. After the Cardinals get their third out. Brings in Joey Votto. And Jimmy, they've started the wave, and I know you're a huge fan of that.
That's what threw you off right there for a split second.
I wasn't thrown off.
Even the best make
no
incorrect statements.
Just want to stretch after the third out.
Not after the second.
That's correct.
Your legs are getting a little tired. I understand. You were just super excited to stand up.
You bet. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Outside, and it's 3-1. Gant to Votto. Fastball and a strike, 3-2. Three-two pitch and a 2-out walk. It brings in a Eugenio Suarez. 6-3 our score. Pitch count at 45. And the Cardinals now get a little activity in their bullpen. Mike Myers grabs a baseball and starts to throw. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. You got big plans for the All-Star break, the ball game?
No.
Changing diapers?
No.
No.
Family's out of town.
No. That's out of play.
Landon is going to Justin Tatum's basketball camp, which is Jason's dad, this week coming up.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a fly ball out to deep right and out of play. I take the time off to study media guides. Find it to be exceptional, relaxing. Nothing like a good media guide.
I'm just going to stay over here and mind my own business after that comment.
wrap up with a good book. Here's a 1-2 pitch, and it's tapped foul. You really should try it sometime. Grab that 2018 Cubs media guide.
Brush up on your upcoming series.
You bet.
It's called the All-Star break for a reason.
And the 1-2 pitch to Suarez. He got him. You know what it's time to do?
Stretch.
Stretch.
There's
6-3. Bottom of the 7th. Jared Hughes, our Chevy, called to the pen. A guy like David Freese could be valuable to a team. Could be on the move. Who knows? And a high fly ball lifted to Billy Hamilton. And the catch is made. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. There's Paul DeYoung. 0 for 3. Twice flied to center and grounded out to third. For Hamilton, that was his 7th putout. He's been busy today. I noticed between innings you did open up your media guide for the first time this year.
Yes, I did.
A lot of really good stuff in there. Here's the 0-1 pitch.
A lot of time was taken to write that book.
I enjoy the media guide. Like I said, it's something that you need to dive into.
Get some good scoops out of there.
Nothing wrong with getting a couple good scoops. 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch. Back to Hughes. And there's 2 away. July 31st, 20,000 fans ages 16 and older take home July's T-shirt of the month. And it's extra special. Pays tribute to Cardinals Hall of Famer and fan favorite Red Schoendienst. Great tickets remain. Cardinals.com/promotions. Here's Marcell Ozuna. One for 3. Singled and scored back in inning number 4. And the 0-1. Cardinals with a couple of home runs today. Matt Carpenter in the first inning. Dexter Fowler in the second. And then a 4-run 4th inning to account for the 6 put up by the Birds. Two balls and 1 strike. Two and 2. The 2-2 pitch to Marcell Ozuna. It's sharply to third. Nice play. And the Cardinals go in order. 8th inning rolls in. When we come back, it's 6-3. Exactly what the Cardinals needed after 4 innings from Miles Michaelis. So Myers continues to throw in the Cardinal bullpen. Gant has not allowed a hit thus far. I think one of the frustrating things about the game yesterday was how the Cardinals used their bullpen, and in particular Bud Norris. Don't know if he's available today. And that pitch taken high by Jesse Winker. Winker, Barnhart, Duvall. His Hyundai pitch arsenal, and that changeup pitch we've talked about a bunch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals used 7 relievers in yesterday's game with the 2 rain delays. 7 different relievers. So exactly what they needed was John Gant to give them some length in this game, and he's done that. The 2-1 pitch. Fly ball lifted to Ozuna in left field. Tucker Barnhart. And a ground ball backhanded by Carpenter, leads Gant perfectly to the bag, and that's out number 2. Well done.
Nice play by Carp. Backhand, settles his feet, just lobs it over there. Let the pitcher run right into it, right to first base.
PFP.
PFP 101.
Pitchers
over and over and over.
Fielding practice. Two outs, and Adam Duvall. Cardinals have Jerko, Wong, and Fowler coming up in the bottom of the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think you should overlook Gant's breaking pitch too. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's got a good breaking ball. Doesn't throw it a whole lot. He's missed a couple times with it, but that's the thing. You keep it in their mind. Get their minds off the changeup.
Two balls and 1 strike. And the 2-1 way out in front. Change up, 2-2. The lights are on here at the ballpark. The 2-2 pitch. And a ground ball hit left side. Glove by DeYoung. Tough play. Wow. Outstanding by Paul DeYoung. I like it. And filling in for Harrison Bader, who hyperextended his left knee. And he's 2 for 2 with a couple of runs driven in. Raisel Iglesias, the new pitcher for the Reds. We saw his major league debut as a starter against the Cardinals. They moved him to the bullpen, and he is filthy. Right-handers only hitting 145 against him. Good fastball, a slider. You'll see his motion very similar to that of El Duque for fans that remember him. And there's strike one. Blandino takes over in left field. And the 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Jerko walked and scored back in the fourth. See with that delivery, the arm angle, why he'd be tough on a right-hander with a good slider.
A lot of different arm angles, a lot of different pitches, good velocity. Yeah, not a lot of fun.
And back to Iglesias, flips it over to first. Usually it's the first baseman leading the pitcher to the bag. This time it was Iglesias leading Votto to the bag.
Joey's not used to that. You see, kind of look back at him like, what the heck?
I hope you get there.
Look at him. Joey's like, it's okay.
Here's Colton Wong.
I think that's one of the scariest things about playing first base is when the ball's actually hit. You have to just bust to first base, and you literally get to the bag, put your feet there, and then you have to turn to look for wherever the ball could be coming from. Some guys will let you get a little bit of time and get set up, and other guys will catch it and throw it at you. Not an easy feeling with certain guys.
I would not like to be at first base. Jordan Hicks in a close play.
No.
There's the 0-2. We saw that in the White Sox series, and Matt Carpenter was shaking his hand. And a strikeout of Wong. There's a couple things I think about with Hicks coming into the ball game. Is Norris unavailable, and two, get Hicks back on the mound. He's had 3 consecutive games in which he's given up runs.
Yeah, you know, each individual guy out there is different. Does he need to throw more? Does he need to throw less? Got to kind of find that out as you go. I look at these 3 days like can't wait for everyone to get some time off.
On a hop, and Fowler is the third out. So Jordan Hicks coming on. 6-3 our score. Those 4 innings, a season high by a Cardinal reliever. No hits, no runs, couple of walks, struck out 4. Could be a weapon out of that bullpen for the Cardinals.
Well, the 85 pitches coming out of the bullpen. That is impressive.
Here's Jordan Hicks. Well, they needed Gant to be good, and he was. Hicks right now 9 runs allowed his last 6 outings. Trying to get back on track. Our Chevy called to the pen. Does have a save that was on June 9th at Cincinnati in a 6-4 win for the Cardinals. The 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex Blandino, part of the double switch, took over in left. He's at the plate. And the outfield, especially Pham and Fowler in right, fairly shallow. Slider catches the corner. And the 1-2. Hicks remind you of anybody? This type of velocity and slider?
No, not with this easy of a release and wind up. I think he's just a rare talent.
2-2. Hicks. You see Carpenter pointed to him, and you can hear it up here. Easy, easy.
Thank you very much.
Just what we were talking about.
Pretty good job right here by Hicks, not trying to do too much. Pretty good athlete.
Carpenter saying easy, easy. I don't blame him. So 1 out, and Billy Hamilton. And a grounder to third. Jerko with it, playing in, 2 down. And the Cardinals 1 out away from going 1-0 with Mike Shildt at the helm. Jose Barraza, the final hope for Cincinnati. Been one of their big stories all weekend long. And a fastball taken high at 102. One ball, one strike. One and two, and a nasty slider. But the movement on that last pitch.
It's a big slider right there.
Wow.
Where it ends up. Now what do? Do you try to protect against the slider, or do you have to look for the 102? Can't do both.
And the 1-2 pitch. Two and two. The 2-2 in the air to right field, and that drops in front of Fowler. To be playing very close to the right field line.
Yeah, I think he was just playing for that 2-strike approach, and Barraza got a little bit more in the bat than they thought. Another hit.
Fielder's indifference. Barraza at second base. One ball, no strikes on Scooter Gennett. Line drive left center. Pham won't get there and keeps it in front. And the tying run now will come to the plate in Joey Votto. Mike Maddox out to visit with Hicks. Well, it looked like Tommy wanted to go after it, but if it gets by him, you're in deep trouble.
Take a look here. He's going after it pretty good. You're right. You got to have that confidence. Either go get that or make the right decision and pull up. Got to keep it in front of you.
Well, you got to be careful here with Joey Votto at the plate. Owner of 9 home runs this year. Mike Myers back up for the second time in the Cardinals pen. Peraza, by the way, sets a Reds record for most hits in a 3-game series, 11.
Pretty impressive series, I'll tell you what.
Two outs, runner at first, tying run at the plate, Joey Votto. Boy, he was way off first base bag.
Picked off clean if he would have thrown that ball over to first base.
Carpenter playing behind him. Thought he could get that big lead.
Watch this right here. He sneaks in. I don't think the first base coach is paying attention. Well, he might have been, but he didn't hear him.
First pitch to Votto is a ground ball. This should do it. Colton Wong is there. Mike Shildt 1-0 is the manager of the Cardinals. Good for Mike Shildt, the interim manager of the Cardinals. St. Louis will finish up the first half of the season. A record of 48-46. Another home run for Carpenter, his 19th. And some good vibes today here at the ballpark. 6-4, our final postgame show is next.